Alright. Well, hello, welcome. This is going to be my 100% steel attempt for Hollow Knight Silksong. Notably, by attempt, this is not just going to be one run. I have already tried this once before. I have the regular Steel Soul achievement, as well as have completed just about all Act 2 content in the run before this, and then died on the transition to Act 3. And admittedly, I kind of expect that will happen a couple of times, but I am going to kind of go into this series not only to kind of do the run, but also to make a path along the way for it. So working on kind of like dynamic routing, figuring out what I want to do, where I want to go, what order I want to pick things up in, etc. I think I'm going to do a lot of these as like stream VODs if you can't find the others. I actually don't have streaming permissions yet, so just going to do this one as a video. Uploading this really probably for my own enjoyment as well as kind of so some of my friends can see it if they want. Kind of was struggling to do this on call with some friends because it does take some focus from me, but wanted to get this up. If you're not the intended audience and you're not me or one of my friends, you're welcome to watch it anyways. I can't promise the content or the gameplay that you'll see will be top tier or anything. But I am going to be chatting through my thought process as I go, as well as maybe some other things we'll see. So hopefully it is enjoyable. But if not, no worries. I'm not exactly doing this for a career. Um, but yeah, I kind of have a save file already set up here. It doesn't actually have anything in it, but just so that we get the full experience, I'll go ahead and start it from scratch here. You can see on the left, I have my actual default gameplay, which took me almost 70 hours here, as well as a kind of speed run to 100% file. Um, so I'm looking to do 100% steel here. I don't think it's going to take me the 21 hours. Um, Sorry, I think it's going to take me more than the 21 hours. Obviously, with less deaths, there's technically less content I'm doing, and it's more streamlined, and I'm better at the game. But I think just due to the nature that like I can't die and I can't risk dying, I imagine that like a final route is going to be very circuitous to kind of pick and choose which things that I engage with. One big thing that I am kind of going into this wanting to figure out is actually let me just jump into the game while I explain this because it's going to be a long tutorial. One of the big things that I kind of want to run into this is how to get to Act 3 kind of as soon as possible. There's like mask shards and spool fragments that I really do want to pick up along the way. I haven't routed out all of the mask shards that I want. I have an obsidian file I might show off where I have tried to kind of map out which ones are available from what acts in a database. So I might try to use that for routing going forward. There's still a lot of other things that I want to add to it. It's not quite useful when it just has masks in it. Ideally, it'll have like keys, power ups, bosses, etc. But kind of the hope is that I can speed my way to the power ups as soon as possible, and then once I am in Act 3, kind of do a grand sweep of the area to get all the things that I need. There's a couple other positive parts about that as well. If I can do that, obviously I still have to complete a lot of content to even make it to Act 3. Um, but hopefully things like the Craw Bell will kind of help with rosary issues that are going to pop up. I know that doing like once you get to Act 3. By the way, before I say this, you should know that I kind of have already spoiled some things by saying there is an Act 3. But this is me 100% of the game, so it is going to have spoilers, and I'm going to be talking as if you know all of them, so heads up. But on that note, yeah, if you don't know, a lot of the item locations are going to change in Act 3. A lot of merchants are unfortunately probably going to perish. I think for a lot of them, actually, I've just noticed in my various playthroughs that there are ways that they don't perish. But I'm not quite sure what those are. And I know that it is not you don't buy their items because the game has a system where if the merchant dies, there are some merchants that do survive to the end. Grindel and the Blasted Steps is kind of the most notable one. And they will kind of effectively like pilfer items that you don't collect. So if other people die, you can still get their items in other ways. One of the most notable ways that we're going to do this is Act 2, Hunter's March. Hunter's March is probably really important in the Steel Soul category just because it has the Ascendance Mask, I want to call it. Basically, it's a tool that whenever you would die, you have like a little extra mask that kind of covers your last heart and prevents you from dying. So, as you might imagine, that's pretty helpful in the run where if you die, you lose the game. Not just because it's extra health, but also because it's kind of like a mental check of like it makes a different sound, and you can be like, whoa, I'm super close to death here. Let me retreat and heal. I think ideally you'll try to hit it early, but I do find that Hunter's March is pretty tough for me, especially the like gauntlet, kind of in the middle of it. And so I would love to attempt it later, when I have a better nail upgrade. And so I might wait to get nail upgrade +2 to attempt it, which does mean I'm playing without the mask for a little bit, but I think that's totally fine. I am not too worried about anybody in Act 1, and I think getting to that in Act 2 is not going to be, getting to the first, like, Pale Oil, I mean, it's basically just sitting out in the open, so I'm not too worried about it. Also, I mean, I say I'm not too worried about Act 1, I do want that to kind of come with the restriction that I do think I'm gonna die to stupid things. I have 5 health, like, I would like to think that I'm pretty good at this game now, but, you know, there's a lot of chances for something to go wrong, so, you know, something probably will go wrong, but, you know, that's why we keep pushing it until we get good enough to kind of streamline the whole thing. So yeah. Right now, I guess I'll go ahead and talk through the current plan for Act 1. Right here, you know, I'm getting out of the chapel, and first boss is going to be the Bell Beast after we get the Silk Spear. That's like all kind of pretty standard stuff, I feel. From there, I am not going to go to Ant, of course. I'm going to go into the Deep Docks. Right now, so you might remember if you've played this game, that in Deep Docks holds Lace 1. You'll get Dash, and then you'll go past the Force Daughter, and then you'll go fight Lace 1. That is like the good way to play, because it's just the route to go to Drifter's Cloak. But and also, to be clear, I do think Lace 1 is like the easiest boss in the game. So I mean, maybe that's unfair since Moss Mother is literally a tutorial boss, but it's just pretty easy. But I have learned there's like some little silly things that I might want to test out, and one of them is this, which is that if you get, if it'll let me, this Pep here has a key for $500, which is like very expensive, and it's also expensive because the rest of the stuff is like really useful too, especially this magnetic brooch. It's going to be kind of how I collect 90% of my rosaries throughout the rest of the game, and so the key is $500, definitely not worth it, except if you take the key and you use it in Deep Docks past the Forge Sister, you can avoid the Lace fight. And obviously Lace is like a major character, and so the game is not just going to let you forget about her. I don't quite know all of the ways that the game changes, but I do know one of the ways that it can change is the game can kind of like correct itself by letting her appear in what's the name? Sinner's Road. And so avoiding Lace is definitely like not the correct play, but I probably am gonna see if I can try it out here, which does mean that like normally I would not like take this route and just get these rosaries, especially not while, you know, I don't have magnetic brooch and I can't just hit them and walk away. But I really do want to see if I can get that key and avoid Lace. And since Lace is such a fast, like, she comes up so fast in the run, like, theoretically I'm fighting her around the, like, 15-minute mark. It's a lot of rosaries to get. So it's definitely going to be an optimal, but I'm not going for speed completion. I'm just going for Steel Soul. So I figure I have time, and I am not going to say no to the flint slates that's down there that I can pick up. It is a very hard area. There is a good chance Ooh, excuse me. There is a good chance I will die. I think last time I attempted this, actually, that is where I died. It has a bunch of the kind of lava people that shoot out 2 damage lava attacks. Obviously, you can circumvent that if you have the magma bell. But the magma bell is also money, and Pev has a lot of good stuff too. So we'll see. I think ideally I will get it. I think there is a very real chance that I get the key and then I go through and then I almost immediately perish. But you know what? If that happens, it's funny. So we're gonna do it. So yeah. That's kind of my goal for the start here. I don't know where all the money spots are. I'm sure what I do for my routing can be improved. Like, a lot of this I've memorized. Like, I don't remember what's up here. It's the flea guys. I could go this way. I'm usually going the way where you go for chakra, but I am curious. And also, I took damage because I'm dumb. Also, if you don't know, so there's a couple Act 3 requirements. I am going to hold off on getting all of the... One of them is you have to get all of the Master Chakra, so you can unlock your quest. And I am probably going to get none of those maps until the very end. The reasoning is just because it is expensive, and you can farm money a lot better at the, like, top level of the... Coral chambers, so I would love to get there before I start spending money. And then on top of that, I'm probably also, like, you have to get all the fleas as well. The fleas are going to be very much more like I should collect them as I pass them, and I'm going to try to. But it's also one of those things where, like, fleas might be locked behind exploration skills, or by, or just, like, out of the way. And so I'm probably gonna like get them as I go for the like where I can. But I think there's a lot of fleas that I'm just gonna kind of ignore because they aren't really on the route. And I'll move a lot faster. Like obviously once I have dash I'll move a lot faster, but I think even having things like double jump is really helpful in that regard. So gonna kinda work towards getting those. I think I've also passed the, because I decided to go the other way and talk to the fleas, I think I have also passed the Shard Gatherer charm. I don't quite remember the name. But that's okay, I actually am not really planning on using it. One of the things I do want to do this run, that I have not been doing before, is getting the Vesta Crest earlier. So I actually might have a yellow slot that I can put it in now. Because that other slot is definitely going to go to the magnetic brooch. But it would be nice if I could get the Shard Gatherer until you pick up the glowstone or the growth stone, which is a Steel Soul exclusive. You know, I might end up using shards. I didn't use it a ton in my last run. I actually. So it's so interesting that like on my casual playthrough I used tools a lot more. I don't think tools are crutch. I think that's a very lame take to have. But I do think that it is hard to switch from using tools to or it's hard to switch from using your needle to using tools. And so a lot of times I would not use tools just because I had to focus on not dying. So I think ideally, like, I will learn to kind of use tools in the middle of the remainder of my gameplay. If that happens, I might use shards a lot more than I did in my previous runs. And so something like that shard collecting approach will be a lot more valuable than I'm kind of giving it credit for currently. But you know, if I do the Steel Soul stuff, by the end of Act 2, I mean, I'll probably want to do the Steel Soul quest, Act 3 if I can. But if I am struggling for shards, I'll probably do it in Act 2. Just because it is fully accessible from Act 2. And if you are not aware, it does use Growstone, which basically is like a one of those things that you can break apart for shards, except it regenerates over time. So it's not like a perfect solver of needing shards, nor should it be, in my opinion. But it does certainly help. Um, so if I end up using more tools than I expect, I will kind of go with that, I think. There's also the shell satchel. I actually have not used the shell satchel before. I don't know if it is any good at all. Sorry, that is another steelsoul exclusive. It takes the place of the Lost Bugs purse. Since you know, can't die, the Lost Bugs purse does literally nothing. So the shell satchel is just kind of like helps you gain more shell fragments as you gain. It's another option. Kind of as a negative to that one though, it is the wormways. I might be going to the wormways this run to get the mask fragment that is in the wormways. Normally, I would kind of be avoiding that location. There's just not a lot in it. I don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't think you can make it up to Shellwood through the wormways. And so all it really has going for it, and maybe you can if you use the key, but if that is the case, then like that pathway is all the key really has going for it, because otherwise, at least in my current understanding, the key to the wormways is just like, I mean, the keys are not very valuable in general. I think they are very expensive, and I think they are very cool on a first playthrough. But when I know what is behind all these doors, like, the point of the keys is to avoid Lace, which is really just more of a point of intrigue, or to go and get the, like, Silk Dash ability. Not like actual dash, but the Silk Skill dash. Which is, you know, neat, but I wouldn't say it's particularly useful. And then, like, I don't know, you can get Plasmium. I actually, you know, I shouldn't really discount that. I know a lot of people who actually do really like abusing Plasmium and steelsoul. If you're one of those people, you know, power to you. I am not. I don't know. I have like a very, I think people should play the game the way they want. I am not going to discourage anyone from tool spam or full Plasmium builds, or admittedly I might discourage people from saving and quitting when they look like they're gonna lose a fight. But I don't know. If you do that, like, I'm not gonna be like, you didn't get the achievement, like that. But those things are not for me. I really do kind of want to play this game. I don't know, maybe not as intended. I have heard people say that team cheering kind of encourages this strategy sometimes, but I just don't really want to play that way. There's a couple reasons. I'm not actually really motivated by the fact that it's an achievement, more so that like, the fact that it is an achievement shows that the devs think it's possible, and there's a dedicated mode to it that, like, it really challenges you to. So I do find it like a reasonable challenge to attempt. But on top of that, also I'm looking at my audio levels. Hopefully I am audible over the game, because I might not be. But you know, we'll see. I'll move my mic up a little bit, and hopefully that helps. So yes, so for me though, part of the fun of it, I think, and part of what I think has been really cool about doing steelsoul, like the regular steelsoul achievement, has been that I kind of feel Hornet's journey on a more emotional level. For example, there was, I think it really hit when in Bellheart, there is a quest to fight the Savage Beastfly in Farfields. And I remember playing steelsoul, and this is not even my winning run. But I took the quest, and I was looking at it, and I was like, when I played this casually, it's like, of course I'll take the quest, and I'll get around to it eventually, and then when I do, I'll just kind of ram my head against it until I figure it out and succeed. Especially notable for the Savage Beastfly fight, because I feel like it is one of those fights that has a lot of chaos that can just kind of deal you damage by luck. And so, you know, that's kind of how you feel when you play normally. It's just like, oh, it's a neat challenge for me to go and attempt. But when I took that in Steel Soul, I kind of looked at that quest and thought about it, and I was like, I could literally die. And there was a part of me that was like, this feels like it could be what Hornet feels when she accepts the quest. Like, this is not a given that, like, it's just frustrating, but I'll get it eventually. It is like, no, I could seriously be killed in trying to do this quest. And I feel like it makes a lot of the wish gathering, or wish granting, and also just like challenges of the pilgrimage feel so much more perilous and like really works well with the themes of the game, because I have like skin in the game, right? Like if I die, also I forgot to equip the magnetic brooch because I'm silly. But I have skin in the game, and like helping these people does come at risk to myself, but it's still, I mean, the beauty of the Act 3 is that it's still, you know, worth it, and it's, you know, about the community. Sorry, I watched the Jacob Geller video essay on it earlier today. If you haven't seen that, you should watch that. It's really good in my opinion. But and my statement just there is a very poor reflection of its conclusions. I just am not philosophizing because I am also steel souling. But I don't know. It just feels more like I truly am experiencing Hornet's journey. That's why actually right now I'm kind of torn by whether I will get past Act 3. Act 3 is starting area. For some context there, Act 3's starting area sets you to 1 health, takes away all your tools, and forces you onto the Hunter's Crest. I'll be using the Hunter's Crest for most of this anyways, partially because I just wanted to get good at it for that segment. And also part of it is just, you know, it's a little bit of a pain to collect the others. Theoretically, there's also, I mean, I'll talk about the other quests in time, but I also kind of have issues with them. Not in the sense that they're bad, but in the sense that I think they were not designed. I think Steel Soul is kind of designed to just use the Hunter's Crest. But the point kind of being that, like, it is the beginning of Act 3 is really brutal, because you are drained down to 1 health, and then you do get a bind. So you're kind of at 4 health. But no matter how much mass you get, no matter how many defensive tools you stack, no matter how many like different builds you get good with, at the end of the day, like, you are stuck with 4 health, staring down a gauntlet of void enemies for the first time. And it's not even easy ones too. It's a bunch of the ones from Underworks, which, if you remember, are like the flying ones that have projectiles, or at least one of them has projectiles, as well as the like shell bugs that can defend themselves. It combines that with the first time that you're seeing void attacks, and obviously I've seen void attacks before because I've beaten this game before. But it does not mean that, like, when I have not seen them in 20 hours, that I'm kind of able to snap back to that. And so, you know, in my last attempt, I did almost everything in Act 2. I went to Act 3, and I got blasted. Unfortunately, the enemies all do 2 damage, at least my recollection. And it sticks 2 enemies on you in a really tiny room, and I just wasn't able to do both of them. And so I did die, and that was disappointing. So there was a part of me, and even in that run, you know, when I did die, I like attempted to pause and Alt F4, because in the moment I was feeling pretty emotional about it. I just spent 18 hours on this run that had maxed out Act 2, and then I lost it all. And it was pretty disheartening, but luckily it's pretty easy for me to jump back into this game just because it's fun. Like, even if I don't make it all the way back there in this route, I'll enjoy it, and that's really what matters. But it was one of those things where it was like, that was painful. And so there's a part of me that does want to. There's a little trick you can do at the start of Act 3 that I only found out after the fact, because I was kind of looking up, does anyone have any strats about it? Unfortunately, the answer really from the in-game perspective is no. There's no strats you can do in-game that like fix that issue. But apparently, if you do decide to quit and come back into the game after you have the little cutscene where you're on 1 health and you heal, you'll come back with full health. And Hornet will still be in that area where you're kind of trapped between this gauntlet and a dead end, but you'll have kind of health to manage it a lot better. Like, that effectively heals, theoretically, and in that case for me, 9 health. And that is not an insignificant amount of health. And so, realistically, like, if I want to beat it, that's what I should do. But at the same time, there is a part of me that's like, this is the part of Hornet's journey where she is, like, most vulnerable. Like, this happens because you fall down from a great height, and, you know, she has the, I don't even know what they are, but, like, panic attacks, heart attacks. She has the little, like, death aura where she stops for a moment and it's like, oh, I'm gonna die, and then keeps going. And I don't know, like, there is a part of me that feels like, in the same vein that I'm chatting about how cool it is that when I take these quests, I feel vulnerable like Hornet would. There is a part of me that's like, that area that feels like it is unattainable, that the void has just entered the world and is now kind of gathered around Hornet in the ruins of this great citadel that Hornet herself has just led to the collapse of. In this moment, like, she has to gather her strength and fight, even though she's on the verge of death. And I think there's something really cool about that. And there's a part of, like, it leads to, I don't know, everyone loves to throw the term ludonarrative around, but I'm sorry if it's well. But there needs to be a more layman term for that. But it's very much a, alright, I'm gonna go to the gauntlet before I see if I can come back here and avoid Lace. It's very much a moment of, this is kind of Hornet on her death throes, but it's also kind of me. I have all this progress, I've done all this work, and now I'm reduced to, you know, 4 health, no silk, and a dream. And even though things look hopeless, like, if I can just fight my way through, maybe there's like a light at the end of the tunnel. And honestly though, like, I feel like the moment for Hornet, the moment in the story, is even more hopeless than that. Like, you don't know that the first shrine is still standing under Sherma. Or, like, really that there is kind of life at all existing after this calamity event. And in a sense it seems fascinating to basically say, like, you know, you don't know if you'll survive Act 3. If I go into it and I go into that gauntlet, I'm kind of accepting that this might very well be the end. And, you know, like, I don't just say that from a, oh, but it wouldn't be perspective. Like, it very well could be. It was last time. And yet, like, I feel like that really only plays into the themes of what you're kind of designed to feel in the moment. And so there is a part of me that, like, despite the fact that it isn't me, and despite the fact that it could kill one, if not several runs, there is a part of me that does want to accept that and kind of commit to, I have 4 health, you know, we have to fight against the seemingly impossible to beat, impossible to beat circumstances I find myself in. So we'll see. I talk very poetic about it right now, but you know, I'm not gonna live forever. Like 18 hours of my life is a lot, and it's not gonna be 18 hours next time because I'm not going to do all the Act 2 stuff before I go to Act 3, because now I know that that's there, or now I recall that that's there. But you know, I imagine I'm not gonna get to Act 3 before like, I don't know, hour 9, like, especially right now where I don't have a route set. So, you know, I gotta be careful about it. But yeah, that's kind of the end game we're looking forward to. Aside from that moment, now's a good time as any to talk about some of the other things from a gameplay perspective that I am worried about for this run. After that, I think the thing that I'm worried the most about is the Bell Eater. I personally struggled quite a bit with the Bell Eater in my first playthrough, and even in the second playthrough, it took me a couple of tries. I think it's a really tough boss for me. It asks you to be very patient, while also telling you that there is like seemingly just a chance you will get hit by some of its attacks. I'm sure that if I were, I feel like there must be a better method to avoiding some of the like red bomb orbs it spits out, but I struggle with it, and so it's scary to kind of be next to it, and have to tell myself like I can't be aggressive about attacking it, which means I can't be aggressive about retaining my heals, which means, you know, when the thing hits me, I might just be going negative in health, and that's terrifying. So I am worried about that one, but alright, I'm gonna see if I can farm some rosaries real quick. So I am worried about that one. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty scared about that. But that's a big one, and I think the other reason that scares me is just because it is like the last one. After that, if you are not aware of steelsoul rules, the dream fights, as well as actually I found out, first sinner, are, I guess you could say, non-lethal fights, in the sense that like if you die, you don't actually die. For the dreams, that's just because like you exit the dream like you do in normal mode, and then you can just jump back in. For first sinner, I think it's because it's my understanding that the first sinner one is like also kind of a dream that occurs when you attempt to bind the statue in that room. So when you die, you know, you're kind of also sent out of the dream. That one, admittedly, is not like as clear to me, so I don't know. I don't know why that's the case, but I do know it is the case because last time I played this, the only other time I came super close to death was against the first sinner, and I kind of had a freak out. I got down to 1 health and I lost the mask, and I was like, I'm gonna die, and then I was fine. So it was okay, but I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get killed, and then I was fine. Oh, you know what? I know where I can go for money. I should. I can also get a mask here, and this is something. So I want to do this run also to kind of give myself a good idea about what my routing should look like. I don't know if I'll do this next time because this is pathing that I'm doing to avoid lace right now, just for the fun extra thing that I'm looking forward to. And next time, honestly, I might just be like, I'll just fight lace. Like, it's really easy, saves a lot of time, etc., etc. But there is also, I think it's a mask shard, that I do want to get. And so I might do this next time. But it's worth noting that this is probably the fastest way to go about it, is to just go ahead and drop right here. And then I could go down here. I'm trying to remember. There is rosaries and a bench, so I'll do it. I like benches. Benches are my friend. Dude, every single time I see these flying enemies, it just reminds me that there aren't aspens in this game, and that's awesome. I mean, there kind of is, right? There's the very rare enemies that are the like bone lava flies, and they're like kind of acidish. But it is, you know, that's a very rare enemy used in just like challenge areas, and let me tell you, that's much more forgiving in my opinion. Oh, you know, I've never gone down that route directly, I don't think. Anyways, where was I? Anyways, I'm doing this route because I'm going to get the Mass Fragment, and I'm also, more importantly, going to get the Pilgrim Shawls, and that'll give me, I think it's 140 for the Heavy Rosary, or not Heavy, but the, just regular Rosary Necklace. So that should give me all the money I need for the key. And it should be a good step towards the, maximum amount while I'm at it. In fact, these moss guys have so much HP, or so much, rosaries. Man, I cannot speak. That I gotta kill that guy. So yeah, if you're also looking for... Oh, actually, the other thing I was gonna do, is go get this mass fragment first, and then I'll come back and get the other one. Well, hello! And goodbye. You know, I don't understand this boss, I'll be honest. It is like a boss, and you don't get anything for killing it. You get, like, shards, and the ability to not see it ever again. But, like, I don't know why you would do that, really. But you can. It's also, in my opinion, the least fun boss in the game. I can also... Okay, if I want the mass route, I should go straight ahead, but also there is money down there. That's why routing is important. You know what? I can go back and get the mass pretty easily. Oh, I don't even have to decide. I don't think I will be able, without Harpoon, to reach any of the Wanderer's Crest stuff. I actually don't know what you need to reach the Wanderer's Crest stuff. But I don't think dash is enough. So we're just gonna grab this route and hit this switch and be happy with ourselves. Also, theoretically, I can Silk Spear the fly in the way down. And hopefully not die in the process. Like, I want to save my Silk for Silk Spear, but golly. Yeah, also, this is why oh, I think I might have missed some. Oh, it's a spool, not a mask! What? That's okay. I might need the pet mask shard though then. Cause I'm gonna get the one that is, I got the one that was in Wormways. I'm gonna get the one that is by Drifter's Cloak. And I'm actually not sure what else I'm going to get. There's my shawls. Thank you for my rosary necklace. Here is the scrap. I don't even have a tool yet. Oh wait, that's not true. I do have the street pins. I need to equip the street pins. Give me that key. I don't think I need the craft metal for now. The next one is 300, which is not cheap. But if I get that and I get the Drifter's Cloak, and I need one more, I'm not sure where that one would be. I think it's a spool at the top of Greymore. Oh, it's, I get the one in Shellwood, and then we'll be fine. Also, speaking of fleas, at the very least, doing this route does give me a flea here, which is good. Ideally, I would love to, like, come do this with double jump, because it's, like, free with double jump. And honestly, as far as, like, speed routing goes, it might be faster to teleport here, get the flea, and leave with double jump, than to actually do the puzzle legit without double jump. But you know, I don't know that, so I got the flea. There's gonna be a lot of things like that where I'm like, I don't know if this is faster, but we're just gonna do it this way. At the very least, it is easier to remember here, I think. Unfortunately, I do need... Fleas are going to be one of the things that I am trying to kind of incorporate into the route. That is because you do need all 22 of them to access Act 3, to my understanding. So, you need to do that and to get to the end of Putrefied Ducks. Which sucks. I don't think you have to follow the fleas of Putrefied Ducks, though, so you only have to leave it once, which is good, because it sucks. That's like, actually, I know that like the hated area is biowater, and for like good reason. But especially after discovering that the rethink purity exists, I hate Putrefied Ducks. Least favorite area in the game. The enemies there are legit scary and be sad. Also, I don't know what it is, but those bell guys that have the shields are so fascinating to me. I don't know what it is. I think it's just that like there are no other enemy in the game, except for like maybe the Cogwork Sentinels, have that same like directional defense mechanic, which I just think is fascinating. I like kind of forgot about them when I first played this game, and then when I came back to do the speedrun, I was like, whoa, these guys are like cool. At least a lot more than the oh sweet, I do have it. Let's go! That's huge. Crafting kit I do want, but you know what? I can wait for another day. By the way, S tier item I just picked up, to be clear. That might sound silly if you've only played this game casually, but there are so many enemies that do fire 2 damage, especially in the early game, and this reduces them to 1 damage, and it regenerates pretty fast. So there are fights like Last Judge, for example, that I do think are tough fights, and then you have the Magma Bow, and you're like, oh, suddenly this fight is easy. Maybe that's a bit exaggeratory for Last Judge. Calling it easy with the Magma Bell might be a bit much, but it's certainly much easier than it would be without it. Also, you can see that I am choking terribly right now, which is a bad time to be choking, because again, this area is tough, and where I died last time. So, you know, great timing from me. But it's okay, because we're alive. Also, I don't know how I feel about the like shell chests that I just grabbed. It does kind of feel like they should be more impactful than they are. I'll be so real. And they are not. They are not impactful. Now, granted, that's partially because, again, I'm like not using tools as much. But I feel like even when I was playing this game using tools a lot, I was also not using tools much. Wow, that is sad. She only had 2 health anyways. Ugh. Anyways, would you rather fight Lace or would you rather fight this? I know my answer. Leave your answer in the comments below. Alrighty. Yeah, another cool thing about the mag. Whoa, I've never seen them like melt like that. That was sick. Another cool thing about the Magma Bell is that you can kind of see when you are. I mean, it's already obvious, so it's not actually like mechanically helpful, but it is visually cool that you can see when you are in a lava area because it does like glow that red. And I just think that's neat. You might ask, oh my gosh, Michael, where are you going? And to that, I have to say, I don't really know. I actually have not finished this area without, tool or like power-ups before. So, we'll find out. But I do have the flint slate now, which is good. I do want to try to use that weapon more. My thought process is that things like this, things like the flea brew, once I get 5 fleas, these are going to be tools that like kind of just operate by making what you would normally do better, instead of like asking you to do a different thing. And so I think I will like utilize those types of tools better than I will like throwing tools or, you know, other weapon tools. So like cog flies, for example, was really helpful to me in my winning run. Obviously I did not want to spam them, but like there were times where it's like, oh, I'm fighting a flying enemy I can't hit very well. Cog flies. And I think that's like kind of the perfect way to use them. Oh, I made it to the end. Sweet. I think actually I did that last time too, and then I got greedy. Which means obviously I have to get greedy still. But yeah, basically I think Flint Slate is going to be my friend this run. I'm also getting it much earlier than I otherwise would. I'm also about to jump into the guy who throws around bombs like his main hobby. But I say that like he's not a video game enemy. This is literally designed only explicitly to throw bombs. Also, I am now under severe risk of death. So that's always a good time. Okay. We're alive. Oh, that's right. You're here too. And it's going to be really tough when I open the craft metal chest over there, because there's going to be another one of those little guys, and he's also going to try to kill me. Watch this mix. Yeah, there's also... Oh, come on. That's what I was worried about. Okay. That's what I was worried about. Unfortunate. I thought I could get a hit and run away and heal before it. Alright, that was, admit it, like, that was pretty greedy of me. That was pretty greedy of me. And what, I've been playing for like maybe an hour. It doesn't show your time on the defeat screen, which is probably kind of it, but is unfortunate. Alright. I am not sure how much I'm going to record for today. I would like to kind of get to stopping points, and I don't like leaving out a loss. Typically when I die, I do try to play for like another 30 minutes in order to kind of get to even if it's like, oh, I beat Moss Mother and I hit the bench, like at least I have some progress to come back to. So we're going to try not to end it on a loss here. I do have some time tonight though. I would love to see, especially now that I know what I want to do with the Moss Grotto stuff. Oh, but I do need Dash to make it to Wormwoods. Maybe we'll just go directly from Deep Docks Ada to her like Marrow spot. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Well, I got my plan now. I'm gonna see if I can make it through the Deep Docks Passage today, because if I can, I think that would be a lot of fun. I don't know. It's just it's a new thing that I can do is make it through that. If I would, and by the way, when I say make it through it, like I do mean with the craft metal, as well as the flint. And you might say, "Wow, that's so greedy and so dumb," and to that I say, "Yes," but that's why it'll be fun. Because again, I am kind of a strong proponent. If you are unsure if you want to do Steel Soul, the best advice that I can give about doing Steel Soul is that you just have to like have fun with it. If you are playing to win, it is kind of gonna suck. So you just have to like enjoy the game. But luckily, I think this game is awesome. So like right now, yeah, am I sad I died in Deep Dogs? Sure. But am I having a good time? Yes. And that's awesome. Alrighty. Also, by the way, if you are wondering about you probably figured out why I'm doing the down slashes if you don't know yet. But when you don't have dash, it does make you move faster than just walking. There's like a lot of tech to it actually, but I'm not doing it. So my dashes are still faster than walking from what I can tell. but definitely not as fast as you can do it. You'll notice when I do it and Hornet hits the ground, she like kind of stops for a bit. There's like a way that I don't remember exactly how. I think it's that if you're holding forward only, so not down forward, but like only forward, and you hit the ground off of the down attack, Hornet will just kind of keep going forward. And so ideally, you will down attack in the air, and then immediately swap to going forward, and then jump, and then immediately down attack again. And that's like kind of a cycle that can get you to move fast, which is really cool. But it does like take some precision, and precision that I don't really care about. I think speedrunning is a lot of fun from a casual perspective, but it's that one meme of like, I like speedrunning, but I would never, ever, ever play a glitch category. Speedrunning is really cool to me, but I think skips that skip fun content sucks. Like, I do not want to do the Sister Splinter skip because I like that fight. I don't know, you know, no shame to anyone who does it, but I don't want to do it. And because of stuff like that, and because I don't want to like fight over seconds, I don't really want to do Hollow Knight speedrunning community stuff, even though those people seem really cool. But that doesn't mean there's not things we can learn from speedrunners. Yeah, hence the down attack. Speaking of speedrunning, by the way, let me get on my first non-Silksong tangent here. If you haven't played Neon White, you should. That game is amazing. That game is about speedrunning. And all doing the shortcuts are all more fun than doing the regular routes. And I think that it's very silly to say it because you would think that doing skips is cool, so doing skips in games would always be more fun than actually doing the content. But like, games exist because their content is fun. And so I feel like, obviously for a game that is about speedrunning, you know, going faster is more fun. But I appreciate that the skips, like, typically are cooler in execution than, like, the non-skips. And it's not just because they're non-intentional, because often they are intentional. But it's because you're playing more actively in the game, which is awesome. Like, if I were to do the bone marrow skip, and skip the, like, gauntlet up here, you can, but doing so kind of requires you to draw over and fly to a specific location and then pogo off of it. And it can feel really cool to, like, get that right. But also, a lot of it is kind of just, like, waiting and leading an enemy. You know, in Hollow Knight, I never really run Hollow Knight. I actually really need to go back and play it because I liked Hollow Knight quite a bit, but never enough to, like, really get into the DLC content. Like, I did some God Home stuff, but I never was to the point where I was, like, doing any of the bindings or anything of that sort. And I was like, oh man, this, like, Grim Troop guy is really brutal. And I don't think that's the case. I mean, maybe my mind will be changed when I go back and play it, but thinking back on the fight, I'm like, I could do that. So where was I going with that? Oh, so I do want to kind of get back into Hollow Knight, but one of the things that I think is a little sad about Hollow Knight speedrunning, you can hit your own ghost to skip areas. Really cool the first time that you encounter it. And it's really cool to be like, oh my gosh, you can get the Dream Nail so fast in the game. And, like, it's cool to see what you can do with it. And I think a lot of speedrunning, like, at first is cool in this way. But then when I actually think about, like, what that actually means for the execution and the route and what you're actually playing and trying to optimize, it's like, well, there's, like, a lot of the game I'd rather play. Like, skipping is fine, but I don't know. Maybe I just like playing the game too much. But that's also why I kind of appreciate the speed achievement and that it's, like, still pretty lax at 5 hours. Like, it's very much meant to be a casual speedrun. And that's the best kind of speedrun. You can play the game that you want while still being fast. Now, I have to say, it is sad to die in deep docks, partially because that deep docks area is actually very challenging, which is really cool. But I'm gonna be so real. I run the beginning of this area so much that like it is like kind of a drag. Like not much really happens, you know. I'm just kind of going through the motions, walking where I know to walk, hitting the guys I know to hit, so they don't hit me off the platform. I can't remember. I know that the shards above this one. Okay. I don't know why I like felt compelled to check that. Let me grab the shard charm this time. Not that I'm gonna use it for a while. But yeah. Boop. Oh wait, I missed. Alrighty. Yeah, I guess I did not show this off last time because I went the other way like a pleb. But you can see where I just converged back on the same path as the fleas. You also don't really need to pick up the flea wish because, you know, you end the flea wish by talking to him after you saved 5 fleas. And you can save the fleas without talking to him. So you really don't have to talk to the flea master at all until you're ready to turn in the quest, which is kind of cool. Alright, 142 at this point, and again I need 500. You know what, it might still be worth doing the Moss Grotto stuff, even though I can't go to Wormways yet, just because it is a lot of money. In fact, that probably is worth doing first. No, Chakra, I don't want your maps. Oh, speaking of, also, you're going to see me do, I'm trying to do another cool thing, which I tried to do last time as well and did not succeed at. I'm not going to purchase the quill from Chakra. And that's because there's actually 3 quills in the game. There is Chakra's quill, of course. But if you don't buy Chakra's quill, like, ever, you can get a quill from Trobio, actually. Above the Trobio boss fight, you can kind of go into what I guess is like kind of like his study, and you can get Trobio's quill if you don't already have a quill. And I did do that in the speedrun, and that was a lot of fun. But not only can you get his quill, but if you wait until Act 3 to get a quill, which means you kind of have to directly pass it and not pick it up in Act 2, you can get like the purple version quill from him in Act 3. So I'm going to try to get the purple version quill. Now, there is some downsides that I found out to this last time. Like, I kind of know where all of his stuff is. I know where all of the stuff in this game is pretty well. Obviously, I don't have like a perfect memory of the whole layout of this place. And, you know, it's a big game. But I've played it enough right now that, like, I have a good idea of the layout of every area. So I thought I didn't need a quill because I didn't really need a map. And like, maybe I'd get lost a little bit in places, but for the most part, I kind of knew what I was doing, where I was going. It turns out that while that is true, it's very helpful to have a map when people mark things on your map. For example, the missing fleas. When I talked to the flea, I don't know, flea brute, I don't remember her name. But you can pay her to mark the rest of the fleas on your map, and usually when I have the flea marked, I can kind of know where it is. There's still some I had to look up last time just because it's like places where it looks like it's in one location, but it's actually in a long room from another location. But where was I going with that? But it's hard to track down the flea locations when you don't have a map to go off of. So I will have to kind of struggle with that a bit, and in this run it might be a struggle for real. but in future runs, if I do like kind of get far enough to get some of those obscure fleas, I imagine that as time goes on, I'll be more familiar with where the hard ones are, and at that point, I really won't care. So not too worried about. Why are you showing me Silk Skill? I just used it. I just did it. By the way, we need 3 of these moss berries for the quest. I picked up, you saw I picked up 1 at the very beginning. And, sorry, I had to check to make sure I actually did hit it this time. 1 at the very beginning, 1 in that room, and then, of course, the 3rd that's above Bone Barrow. You know, actually, instead of fighting Bellbeast, I could go this way first. And then go down here. You know what? I'm liking it. I'm liking it. And then I actually can use the passage that you open up over there. Now, I guess notably, I don't have the magnetic brooch yet. So I have to, like a pleb, pick up all my rosaries. Oh, it also means I'm not actually going to get this guy. Because I'm going to want to go around. I could get him and then take get the magnet brooch and then take the elevator back up. That might be what I have to do. Oh. Okay. There is like a very real chance that I missed that.
Oh boy, yeah.
Give me that seat. Right, and now actually if I want, I can go get my Druid's Eye, which is cool. I actually think when I first played this game, I was like, oh, the Druid's Eye seems pretty helpful, and I used it for a while. But then as time went on, I was like, it's not that good. But honestly, playing this in Steel Soul, I actually think it is like a B A tier item. Like, it is not bad. So I would be happy to have it early. School time. The other thing that's interesting about the schools is that, like, I feel like they are significantly less helpful than the masks, but I do wonder how much of that is just because the masks are, like, obviously helpful, and the schools are, like, a more subtle version of helpfulness, because they do theoretically let you heal faster, unless you are healing at every possible moment. Like, theoretically, you are getting to, like, let's say you have 3 spools. When you heal, you automatically have 3 rounds of silk again. So theoretically, like, if you are going to full over and over again, they kind of are making your heals faster, which is really good. You also enter a fight with extra buffer, which is really good. But at the same time, like, there is a part of me that's like, how often am I dying because I didn't get the chance to heal versus dying because I got hit while attempting to heal and or like I got comboed by the enemy or like I panicked. Like, I feel like very rarely is it because I just didn't have soak. And in that case, there is a part of me that's like, are the spools helpful? Like, I don't know. Obviously, I would rather have them than not have them. They're worth the detours. But it's not so impactful that... I don't know. It's not as impactful as the maps. I guess that's all I'm really trying to say. There's a lot of spools and shops that I think are probably just going to be like too expensive for me to get. And I am going to pass them up. But that's also because they are wildly expensive in those shops, though. When you were... Okay, another fun fact that I can share because I'm doing this fight right now. By the way, I actually do think that this boss It's crazy that things like Sister Splinter were nerfed, and this boss was not. I actually do think Melbeast is like kind of crazy because it does so much damage. I cannot remember if the bells do 2 damage. You know, we might find out if I mess up. You know what? Let's find out. They do 2 damage. But like that's the thing. This boss does 2 damage on all of its attacks. And its attacks are not hard to avoid, I think. Especially like at this stage where I know exactly how they operate. But I feel like if you are a new player, I mean, this is the boss that you fight after Boss Mother. like I think that's kind of crazy. Like it does 2 damage on all of its attacks, and on a replay, I feel like that's totally fine. But I had an experience, and I think a lot of people probably had a similar experience, where the first time I played this game, I didn't really enjoy it, but I did, and at some point, give up. And then I picked the game back up because I saw a friend was playing it, and I was like, oh, that does something. And then I picked it back up, and then I beat the game. And then I played it again, and I was like, oh wow, this game is actually incredible. And now I've beaten the game like 4 times, maybe? I think I've only beaten Lost Lace twice. Yeah, I think that's right, because I beat the game, I 100% the game, yeah, I've only 100% the game twice, so I think I've only beaten Lost Lace twice. But like a lot of these people, I've done all of the Act 2 content at this point at least 3 times. And a lot of that Act 2 content is more than that. So I've played this game a ton now, and I think a lot of the aspects of this game are very much optimized for people who are already good at this game. And as someone who is already good at this game, I appreciate it, but like, I think it's a little irresponsible, I guess is the best way to put it. Like, I do think the game is a little too harsh for newcomers. And there is a part of me that, like, I feel like this game has done a great job, in my mind, of arguing for the value in having difficulty modes. I know people, like, I don't think of this game as, like, a Dark Souls game, partially because I don't like the Dark Souls games. But I know that, like, easy mode is a big discussion with Dark Souls games, and some people do feel like this game is a Dark Souls game. I do think that the experience, like, I think this game is the type of game that could benefit greatly from a hard mode that unlocks after you beat it. And in fact, I feel like a lot of games that are trying to still sell a similar experience should have, I don't want to call it a New Game Plus, because I kind of, this is personal preference, but I really don't like games that offer New Game Pluses where you take, like, your stats into the next game. That feels kind of cheap in my mind. But I do think, like, it kind of reminds me of Pokemon Black, or it might be Pokemon Black 2, where you beat the game, and then at the very end, it's like, oh, here's another difficulty mode. And in Pokemon, it's like, this is useless because I'm never going to play this game again. I mean, you might, but, like, probably not. Pokemon very much is like a one-and-done type of experience. And in fairness, for a lot of people, I think Hollow Knight is as well. But I think the big thing about Silksong is that I think it would benefit greatly if there was, like, you could play the game on normal mode. And maybe normal mode is, like, about where it currently is. Like, I don't think the game needs to get easier, because I do feel like the game is very fair. But, like, they could have toned down the platforming, they could have toned down the 2 damage attacks. I mean, right when the game came out, they did nerf a bunch of people to do from 2 damage to 1 damage. And I think that was a really good decision. I really stand by it. But I also kind of do wish that some of that would be reverted when I was playing the game now. There's also other parts of the games that I think could really benefit from a makeover on replay. And I understand that, like, I'm arguing that the game should have another mode that, you know, requires fine tuning and play testing, etc., etc. So, like, I am not saying that, oh, Team Cherry should have done this differently, because I understand that they were interested in getting the game out, and I'm glad they did get the game out. And if that means it ships without a hard mode, I think it should ship without a hard mode. But I really feel like the game would benefit a lot if the main game was still quite difficult, but then once you did complete it, you could have kind of this challenge run that said, these platforming sections are harder now. Like, I don't know, it's just, people joke about Hollow Knight being a prequel, or like a tutorial for Silksong, and I think that is true, and that does kind of sadden me, because I think this game is incredible. And personally, like, I feel like this is maybe it's because I am, you know, a different person as I've grown up, but I remember playing the first Hollow Knight and enjoying it, and having a really good time with it. And I have a poster of Hollow Knight in my room, in my house, and like, I like Hollow Knight quite a bit. But also, it didn't make me like a Metroidvania fanatic, and, you know, I only did so much of the DLC, as I mentioned earlier, and I didn't really have any desire to Steel Soul it. And I think as a game, what's the best way to put it? I don't think it has flaws per se. Well, every game has things that can be improved upon, but I don't know if it has any glaring flaws per se. But I do feel like it was kind of a one-note experience. And that one note was really, really good. But to me, Silksong is a game that you can improve on. Or Silksong is a game that, like, I have wanted to play, like, more and more. Like, I beat Hollow Knight, and I was like, that was a good game. I'm gonna go do something else. And I beat Silksong, and I was like, I just want to play more Silksong. Like, I want to open up a new save file. I want to see how much I've grown. And I think there's reason, like, there's a lot of things that I can point to about why I feel like that was the case. I feel like it was the case because, like, Hollow Knight is a dance with every enemy that has, like, enemies have attacks, and there is, like, a right way to dodge the attack. And so when I beat an enemy in Hollow Knight, I felt like I had mastered that fight. But when I beat a fight in Silksong, I feel like I have achieved a significant level of skill in it. I think, like, one thing I'll chat about if I ever talk about the Dark Souls series is that I do feel like a lot of it is just kind of hitting your head against a wall until you are lucky. At least for me, who is bad at the game. I don't feel that way about Silksong. Like, I feel like when I beat the boss, it's because I got good. And I do feel like good having beat the boss. But I still feel like I could get better. Because it's not that, you know, when Grandmother Silk does, you know, her needle attacks, it's not like, oh, I need to stand here and press this button. I need to shadow dash through this. I actually kind of, I'll chat about it. I'm so happy this game does not have a shadow dash. Like, holy, it's such a massive change to me that there is no invincible dash. This is one of the reasons why, is because I feel like it kind of does pigeonhole you into, you know, the boss is kind of designed for you to beat it, and when you do beat it, like, it's because you figured out and can now kind of press the steps in time, and that is cool, and I think there's a lot of value in that kind of design. But I really like what they've done with Silksong more, where, like, I mean, fighting this guy, you know, he tries to float outside of my attack range, and he'll throw, like, little soccer balls at me. I like to think of them, like the little, like, ember orbs. And so, like, he has set patterns, and each of these patterns has, like, a way for you to deal with it. But those ways are a lot more conceptual than they are rigid steps. Like, I think about the Sage Master. I'm trying to remember his name, like Soul Master from Hollow Knight. A fight that I very much remember very intimately, and with a combination of frustration and admiration. And I think that fight, though, like, beyond anything else, is just really cleanly choreographed, and it's really sick. But also, I do use the word choreographed because, you know, he has a bunch of attacks that you stay on the parts of the screen that his attacks doesn't hit you at. And on the contrary, like, enemies don't really... I mean, enemies don't stop in Hollow Knight either. Like, you are trying to hit them as their attacks fly by, but it feels like in Silksong, I am fighting against an enemy that isn't just, like, designed for me to beat. Which obviously is not the case. Like, you know, when Crust King Khan does his sweeping, you know, coral blast on the floor, it's designed such that I can jump and flip. Like, it doesn't last that long. But I can also cling to the wall with Ascendant's Grip. And I can also, you know, try to just, like, double jump to the top of the arena and, like, wall jump to the top of the arena and stick up there. I can also bounce on his head to stay above it. Like, it's one of those things where it feels like Hornet has more freedom in how she approaches problems. I don't know. I'm trying to find a better way to kind of talk about it, but I think part of it is the different tools and the different crests means that, like, attacks have to be designed in such a way that you're not designed to be able to, like, cleanly or not at all avoid them. And because of that, there's kind of, like, levels of gray about how well you avoid an attack. And I think it contributes a lot to how fun the game is. I don't know, that's just the ramblings of a madman. Alrighty. Alrighty then, chat room. What is that from again? I cannot remember. But we have our dash. I can play the game now. This is where the game really starts, in my opinion. I kind of wish I could fast track to here every time. But oh, well. It looks like that took me... Goodness, did that take me about... No, it did not take me 30 minutes, did it? I'm like looking at my clock and I don't remember exactly when I started this run, but I worry that took me about 30 minutes. It might have, because I did do some extra stuff. Well, that just means that we shouldn't die this time. How much money do I have in the bank? Not enough. But only barely. Oh, enough! No, not enough. But only barely. That is unfortunate. What did I pick up last time that I didn't pick up this time? Oh, I did want to go to Worm Race still. I guess I'll just... It's gonna be faster if I make it this way. I didn't take the teleport because I was kind of hoping to get some rosaries, but the enemies around here don't drop rosaries. Did I get this rosary thing? Oh, wait. I'm bad. I'm bad. I did. Any chance that this has been remade? No. Well. I could fight the ant. Dude, I would so die. It would be funny. I mean, I can fight this ant and be fine. It's just it's the ant coliseum that I cannot. This guy's actually, like, secretly a pushover. He suffers from what well, I think it's a good thing that he does suffer from this, because he's obviously, like, not a boss. He's just somebody who, like, sticks in the way. But he suffers from too much telegraphing. Oh, but see, all they gave me was scrap. That's only one letter off from crap. And the ants do not fear God. They do not have rosaries. There's at least a flea I can get. Dude, even if I do go in here, I'm gonna have to pay money to get the mask. And the flying guys take like 10 million hits to kill. Not these guys, but the like flying ant soldiers. And that's what makes this area hard, in my opinion, is, oh, there is money. Good argument game. Yeah, I think my main, I think the main reason the ant farm is so hard right now is just because, whoops, that was unintentional. My money! Wait, I didn't get money for killing him. Is that, the enemies just like have a lot of health. There's also like tools that I would feel a lot safer with as well. Oh, like I forgot that guy did six hits right now. That's so many. Like, I would love to have fast mind. Like, I would love to not be mad. I would love to have fast mind, because fast mind I think is like one of the best items in the game. For Silksong. Alright, wanna watch me die? This is gonna be really funny. I'm gonna regret it. But you know what? It was funny and I did it for the bit. You actually can't. It's actually scientifically impossible to regret doing it for the bit. Fun fact. Okay. Yo, Pushanka! I actually think this is terrible because, well, maybe not terrible, but I worry that the presence of Pushanka makes this very difficult to focus and to see what is happening. On the contrary, she is kind of kicking their butt without me. Maybe I should just let this happen. Oh, I don't have one. That's why it's not working. I'm dumb. See, like, I did not even see myself get attacked there. But also, this is the last guy. Right? Like, okay, actually that was pretty good. I died on a run before because Pushanka helped me. I know that's not her name, but cool. But I died on that fight before, and oh gosh, please do not die here. And I kind of blamed Chakra at the time, and perhaps that was unfair. Perhaps Chakra made that actually super doable because she got it. Yoink. They're not ready for me to get sploinky with it. Sploinky! Oh, they're ready for me to get sploinky with it. Sploink this. Dude, I know this for sure. Bam! Yeah, I say I'm alive as a filler word, huh? Oh well. Dude, I don't want your money to go away. Thank you. By the way, you might have not been able to see it because I'm such a master at avoiding it, but there are traps on the floor. You know, inconspicuous jump dash there and there, and I still hit one. Alrighty, that was actually pretty good. I might do that more often now. I am realizing this needs drifter smoke. Whoops. Whoops. I mean, needs is a strong word. I actually didn't know that you could do that. That's pretty sick. Dude, this game is so good! I don't have anything yet. Well, okay, here is the problem though. I have $600, but mask is like $280 or something. He's gonna rob me for all I'm worth. Yo!
That's fine.
Dude, if Hornet is actually racist, why doesn't she just kill him right now? Okay. Yeah. You know what? I'm sure the payday at the top of this area is enough to pay for those. Surely. Spoiler, it's almost certain. But oh well, we did it for the bit. I have to follow through. I'm not gonna do it for the bit and then just say like, actually, I don't want the prize, right? You know, like. Also, I can't go up there because I don't have Cling. Oh, well, you know, it doesn't matter if he's gonna pay for it or not because I'm not gonna get it. But you know what I am gonna get? A memory locket. In the right place. You know what I am gonna get? A memory locket and a crest. Now I actually don't need the crest, of course. That's right. I forgot about that. Did I just parry that? That's so sick. Definitely not intentional. I'm bad. I'll get a memory locket, but I also want to get the crest, not because I'm going to use the crest. Okay. I'm dumb. I can't get the crest. What am I doing? Chat, am I cooked? I'm sorry for all of my older audiences out there. Wait, where is this? I actually don't know where I am. Oh. Well, good to know. That bench. Oh. I don't want to spend the money. I'm cheap. Okay, but like actually, I should try to die. But actually, I should be a little bit serious. But actually, that guy could have just like killed me. All right. It's really only hitting me like just now that I totally threw away my ability to do the bit. That sucks. I'm a very silly person. There's not money in here, is there? The money room? Secret money? I feel like this looks so weird. Sure. Alright, I could Bell Beast back, but I have to redeem myself. And if I redeem myself, I mean collect $300. I don't even have any, extremes I can do. I guess I could go back and do the The problem is that I can't, like, if I wasn't committed to not fighting Lace here, like, I could do whatever I wanted. And like, I now have this extra equipment that theoretically gives me a really good leg up, but I mean, the whole point was I wanted to see the no Lace content. I should have thought through it more. Story of my life. I wonder what are the conditions for that changing to Lodi's Carnival, because that is free money, and the best part about money is it's free, so I am kind of looking forward to that. I want to try that again. Hey, you. Thank you. It's all the places like these that confuse me. Like, theoretically, the idea is that you get the shell shards, and you're like, oh boy, shell shards! But also, I don't think I've ever said, oh boy, shell shards. Since I'm just hanging around, I think there's somebody up here. Obviously, like, I have to come back here when I have double jump and the Flint Gym quest. So it's like kind of a waste to be here. But I don't care. I got wrecked by that guy. Block this mix. Using tools is highly satisfying. Yeah, I'm pretty epic. At least I can go ahead and hit you. Money isn't here, if I recall. No, it's just lore. Why couldn't it have been something useful like fat stacks? Okay. Well, at least these guys have money on them. I did get the, yeah, I did, The worst part too is, like, I actually do have the money on me in the form of the Groral Commandment, but I can't turn it because I'm not there yet. Which, last time I checked, is kind of cringe. That was bad. Okay, well, I really wanted to avoid him throwing himself and his money into the pit, so I did. Also, I'm going the wrong way. By the wrong way, I obviously mean the right way at a different pace. Let me at least get this one here.
Yanara.
Meetings! I come bearing berries.
Tamiyan.
Yeah,
Oh,
me.
Rendio? Si Mandore?
Whoa! Alright, this is a great time to chat about the fact that this is a recording and not a live stream. Not that matters without an audience that I won't
Nera,
have.
nera, la.
But it turns out if you want to do YouTube streaming, I have a couple of recordings on this channel for like Exceed.
Oh,
Just
nera.
because when I was part of the Exceed server more actively, you know, this is what you did is you played games and then you uploaded them. But oh, I do have a memory fragment. I can actually use that. But it turns out having a YouTube channel. I mean, not that I have a YouTube channel as if it's like my job. Obviously, I'm putting the bare minimum of it into it because I am not actually doing it for gaming primarily. But you would be shocked how many like hoops there are to jump through to like make something to like be able to live stream. This ain't Twitch. Like, you have to. I had to like do like a I'm not AI verification thing, and then wait 24 hours, and I was like, you know, that's kind of fine. But then it still wouldn't let me because apparently you have to both enable advanced features by doing that, but then you also have to enable live streaming in specific by I guess by like attempting to go live, and notably not by attempting to go live through OBS. So that's what I tried to do, and it kept telling me I can't do it because, you know, F me. But I had to go to YouTube's channel and then click like the go live button, and then it was like, oh, you tried to go live. You'll have access to this feature in 24 hours. I was like, why? Like, I've already done my verification. I've already enabled my advanced features. Like, what else do you want from me? Why do I have to wait more time other than you just feel like it? I don't know. I'm sure they have a reason, but it seemed odd to me. I sure wish this guy gave some kind of reward. It feels like he should at least give... You should give this mask. I'm gonna be so real. Like, this mask should not just be sitting here, especially in like a kind of unintuitive, annoying place. It should be a reward for killing him. That's how they should do it, and I should be the one to program Silksong. Obviously, if that is not obvious, that is a joke. I'm sure they know what they're doing right now. I'm just a player. But, I don't know. It is one of those things where it's like, I do wonder why they did it that way. Because it does seem odd to me. Alright, let's see if I can... There is... No! There is that. I do wonder if I was like... If I, like down slash and then dashed at it, if I would have a better chance of hitting it. I'm going back up as if I have a chance of hitting it if I do this. Spoiler, I don't. But I do want to try. I'm sure that it is positioned. I'm just bad. I'm bad. I'm sure it's positioned so that you can't do it. I don't know. We'll see. I am, again, I think I actually already said it, so I'm trying not to repeat myself, but will, inevitably. Oh, I'm so good! I say as if that's not intentional. And then... Oh, yeah, it's not happening without Harpoon. But shockingly, that is happening with Harpoon. We have 77! The crime. This is criminal, but I don't have enough money. I have no one to blame but me. In fairness though, even though I've taken some long routes, everything I've done has been beneficial. And I'm not gonna have enough for Magma Bell. You know what? I will have enough for both if I do this quest right now. but if I go that way, I am not gonna. Oh, you know, I didn't think about it, but so these guys do respawn here, but they were not here the first time because Chakra killed them. And I actually have not noticed that detail before, but that's really sick. Not bad, not bad. Always so funny to me the way like the shells like burst off of their body. Like, isn't the whole point that I am not breaking them? Like, she's not trying to tear through them. She's trying to take them to give to other people. It's my understanding. I mean, it's a video game. It doesn't matter. But, like, I don't know. I just find details like that funny. Oh, they're not. Have I not sat on a bench since last time I did this? Well, let's just run through that again. Yeah, no do future selves. Saving that. The other thing is if I saved it till Act 2, I wouldn't have to spend any money for those things. And I could do the other ant stuff all at once. So basically a big mistake doing it all at once here. Or doing the ant action here. Because even though I could do it, and I think it would be fun to do the gauntlet still, while Chakra will still aid me. Because that actually was a lot of fun. I like. There's just no. There's not really reward to get if I can't pay for the items. Alright. Let's get my just reward. Alright, all things considered, you know, definitely did waste some time, but not like a ton. And I get the key, and I could also get the craft metal on here, but I do want to come back for the mask, so I'd rather wait. I already do have the craft metal for, oh, that's 120, not 140. Oh well. I already do have the craft metal for the magma bell, which is the most important part. Both for my livelihood down here, but also just for the fact that like it's gonna help a lot later. I really like using it on the last judge. Last judge second phase actually becomes easy with the magma bell because all of its attacks do 1 damage instead of 2 now. Which is, I think, really funny. It's one of the few bosses in the game that like becomes easier as it advances through the phases, which is just, I don't know, goofy to me. I mean, it doesn't actually become easier because you're not like, if you don't have the magma bell, it is harder. But wait, have I not done this gauntlet yet? Dude, I could also do this stuff. I don't know if I should do this stuff. I mean, I'm in it now, huh? So I guess I am. Actually, I should. This will give me a spool. Why wouldn't I? Well, it's not like I'm gonna lose. I already killed the guy, and the coals are not bad. I do think coals are a great addition to this game because it is like less punishing. But it has its own properties. I don't know. It's one of those things where I was talking a little bit about how I do wish there was like a challenge mode after you beat the game, and it's one of those things where I think there are areas that could benefit from having coals that becomes lava. Or honestly though, the game could even just benefit from coals, or from lava does 1 damage to lava does 2 damage. Oh, I don't need to be here. There's a chest here? Okay, it's not. I was gonna say, I actually do not remember this at all. You know what? It is functionally nothing. Oh. Fine, it's not functionally nothing. Wow, what a crazy pit that's blocked off. I'm sure glad that will never come up again. Ah, I saw it. You probably saw me trying to stall there. I was like, oh no. I don't beyond what I have to. Okay. I do think that's a really good spool again. I do think I should be getting that in the future. I kind of forgot that one was right there, and it's just a really easy one to get. Dude, I forgot how slow I was for that pass by. I'm so real. Oh wait, I need to sit on that to equip the magma though. Anyways.
Wenera.
No.
Nesvie.
You happen to have some kind of fire resistant craft, would you? Oh, incredible. Wait, can I afford the crafting kit? Did I already break the necklace? I did. Still, that build is looking good. But see, if I were playing this without trying to avoid lace, I could have a mask shard and the crafting kit instead of this key. And that is like totally worth it if I was not trying to do this specific challenge bit. Like that is so much better than moving through an additionally hard area just to get the flint slate. Cause I don't think I can get anything else down here. And I don't even have to move. I don't even have to move through it to get the flint slate because you can go to the other side that has like the safety valve, and you can just like be there. Like you don't need things to like. Like I'm pretty sure. I think there's a place in here where it's like a wall that you unlock, but it's not all the way at the end because you don't have to. I think you don't need the key to get the flint slate. Wow! 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 That was bad. That was so bad. Evil, evil. I like that. Sorry if that's annoying, by the way. That is... I will not say my catchphrase, but it's, I don't know, it's like shouldn't be reassuring because it's me being self-deprecating, but it's like kind of a joke, and so it is reassuring to me in a way. It's like, ah, this isn't actually serious. Shard bundle, my favorite. This will help me figure out how I'm going to do these routes in the future. The answer is there's very little down here. I don't care for the shard bundle. The money is kind of nice for preparation if I do spend for the key. Then there's this nature. You know, I haven't really thought about it, but this is kind of just like a slightly harder version of the big schools. It has a little bit more health. It has, I guess it does have its main weakness covered up by the fact that you can't poke off of it. I know early game, like that was how I feel a lot of other people dealt with that. And obviously that does not fly with my ground attack. Okay. There's the flint slate up here, but I gotta go down below because I do want to get the craft metal still. Okay. I also do have the boomerang now. I need all the health I can get for this, I think. Not in this room. I guess it's not. I guess it's the next one. Okay, so you have money, flint slate, and then craft metal, all in different rooms, I suppose. I guess I just think of it as one room because they look so similar. I was not expecting that. She like, I don't know if that, I mean, I assume that was not a glitch, but there just like wasn't really an animation for it. And these guys don't get stunned if you hit them with the metal. Or hit them with the fire soccer ball. Oh, you do need the key for flint slate. Okay, okay, good to know. Good to know. Dude, I'm bad, I'm bad. I'm bad? I'm bad? I'm bad! Here, I need to heal, but I'm gonna kill this guy first. But I'm gonna do this first. It's so funny to watch him like pull out the bomb in retrospect. Or sorry, put it away. Like you see the glow for just a moment, and then the explosion happens, and he's like, "Oh, never mind." Okay, okay. Here's the strat, by the way, is to do this, and then let them just. I mean, that's a little lame, right? But it does work. And then this area is just like a much better area to fight him in. Oh my gosh, wait, I can just cheese him this way. Well, that's maybe a little silly, but you know what? I did die here last time, so I'll cut myself some slack. Alright. Man, I'm so happy that this is floor and not lava. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, and those in between, we have passed Lace, and she's nowhere to be seen. I presume that I also would run into her if I went backwards. Luckily, I don't need anything back there. But I presume if I went backwards into that room that she would be there. How funny would it be if fourth cores only spawned if you killed Lace? Normally I don't fight that guy, but I just felt like it was risky not to there. I definitely have like I definitely died there before because I've tried to avoid him and fallen into lava. And I did have the magma bellow, but I don't know. We just dodged Lace. I was nervous I was gonna make a mistake. Alrighty. Now I gotta ask. Oh. I do this a lot, where I forget to grab the quest. I gotta ask for you at home. Are you a spine farmer, or are you an area circler? AKA, do you just abuse one spine thrower to get all the spines? Or do you go around the area collecting the spines? I know which one I am. You'll see in a moment. It's always like, I don't know, the seamstress is such an interesting... actually, the seamstress is such an odd NPC to me. She is interesting, but in the way that I feel like she doesn't fit with the rest of the world. Like, the pinstress, and maybe there's, well, knowing this game, there is, but the pinstress is like kind of a lone warrior type, and so it does make sense that she's out in like the blasted steppes, where it's like, you know, a really harsh area at the edge of the world to kind of train herself. But other than that, like, all the bugs do really like live in community, and seeing as like the strength of community is like such a big theme of this game, it is very interesting to see, or I guess really more the value of community. It's very interesting to see, like, this NPC out all by herself. And I haven't actually read her dialogue in a hot minute, admittedly, but I don't recall it like giving a real explanation as to why. I know she's like skeptical of the Citadel, but also, you know, worried that you'll shake things up, and doesn't really want to get involved. And I guess you could kind of read it. Oh, that was the last one I did. I guess you could like kind of read into that and say like, you know, she wants to be left alone from the rest of the world. And I think that's a fair interpretation, but I don't know. It doesn't really satisfy me. Like, she is one of the few NPCs, aside from like the Mask Maker and the Pinterest, who's like just so fully on her own in like the corner of this world. And it just seems odd to me. Anyways, here's our next milestone achieved. I might start wrapping it up after that. I do want to get this Mass Shard. I do want to fight fourth chorus. I do want to get to halfway home, but halfway home might be the stopping point for this session. We've avoided Lace, which I'm very happy about. I actually could... let's see. I suppose I could just jump straight into Sinner's Road. There's a part of me, like, I know she appears in Sinner's Road if you haven't chatted with her yet. But there is a part of me that feels like if you don't go to Sinner's Road, that she must, like, have something else as a result if you don't. So there is a part of me that's like, oh, I want to avoid Sinner's Road, because if I avoid Sinner's Road, I can get whatever, like, the content I don't know about is. But they're also just like that content. Like, I'm sure her dialogue will be different, at least in, like, she'll at least have different dialogue when you see her in Coral Chambers. You'll be like, who are you? But if that's the case, like, I'd kind of rather see the visual of her in Sinner's. So we'll see. I'll have to think about it. I mean, I'll go back and fight Widow first regardless, and then I'll just decide it when I'm going back for the bell. I know there is like a skip to get the bell without first getting clean grip. Um, I know it's like ah! I know it is like a lineup type of. Also, I have Magma Bell for this fight. I don't usually have Magma Bell for this fight. I usually forget. Not that I remembered here. I just forgot to. I don't. Because I had the memory locket so early from going to Ant area. Normally I don't have a memory locket by this point. I need to look up if there's anything else that I can grab while I'm in Farmhouse. Like in that like area where you're getting the spines. I don't think I'm like aware of anything that you can grab from that area. But like it's such a big area. I always feel like there should be something. And I mean, in fairness, like there is once you have power-ups. Like you can go into the weave nest with the heart, and you can like go into the skull challenge and you have perfect. But it does feel odd that like without these things, there's like beyond farming enemies. That's a wrap. I need those rings so I can Shanka. I think the best part about the rings is that you can taunt without expending silk, which is ideal because your taunt does not need a hitbox in exchange for. It is a very neat tactic. I don't want you. I do. Sorry, I'm thinking about some things. Okay. How much money do I have? 350. I actually do have a good shot. Let's do it. I'm not gonna pay for all of the Beast areas just because it is money that like money is very real in these routes. Like I do still want to get the money is very real in these routes. Like I do still want to get the mass fragment and things like that. But it is still good to, you know, have checkpoints by the time I hit Act 2. I'm going to have to do a lot of backtracking for stuff, as I've just proven for Clean Grip. So I do want to make sure that, like, I have enough appropriate waypoints that it's not a massive pain to get back to it. Wait, did I hit? Okay, I accidentally split up the damage. Hello? You have to leave and come back? Am I not allowed to do it yet? Am I not cool enough with the ants yet? Do they not think I'm hip and cool? I mean, I'll take the green money. Maybe it was all free money. Maybe it was not free money. You know what? Let's actually do this as well because I do want the fleet that is here, and money is going to be out. It does have money if I recall. Yeah, I should be playing with more caution than I am. they aren't even trying to hit me. And I just end up running into them because they like are, you know, like hard to see in the darkness. They're just like little soil fellas. Boy, I sure hope there's not a trap here. Oh. Actually, I did not realize that you could just jump over. I'm gonna be so wrong. I thought it was like screwing with that. Right. Well, I guess continuing forward is actually not much of a positive here. Actually, there is. If you're ever unsure if something is worth it, you just have to ask yourself, will this make me money? And then the answer is probably yes. Please don't do that. We already live in too much of a buddy-centric society. It's also one of the points of this game, I think. I actually might be able to buy a crafting kit here. I don't know if I want to. At 500? I think I don't want to. Because I think doing so means not giving them that. And I kind of would love to have 6 masks going into Widow fight. 6 masks would be so huge. Especially when I already have the Ancestor mask. That'd be kind of insane, actually. Okay, admittedly, like, dancing from draft to draft like that is really fun. And it's sad that that kind of goes away after you have double jump. I could just go ahead and do some of the Krabug stuff and then get the, like, go ahead and get the medal. But I really do appreciate waiting until I have, like, the Krabug class. Which does require you to save Krabug first. But I have to do it after Widow. But I kind of, like, basically, I emerge in Greymoor. And then I run all the way to Shellwood, and then I run all the way back, and then I run all the way to Shellwood so I can continue into the last steps. Which is a little annoying, but I don't know. It feels like the kind of comfiest way to do it. I don't know. I cannot believe I survived in real life. Also, another thing that I don't understand about this game, why is this door locked? And not like from a lore perspective or anything, but just because like going from one side to the other is effectively like free. Like there really is not an issue other than like maybe they want you to have to see the roof with the Krabug, but it does just feel odd to me.
Oh no.
I mean, at the very least, it does, I guess, help sell that, like, he does have a Krabug problem before you get the quest, but I don't know how much that matters. I've got to defeat 70 more guys.
That's fine.
Sono abade. There's a hole?
I did say I was going to stop there, didn't I? I should. I should. Thanks for joining me, and look forward to seeing it next time. Bye bye.